James Hoyne. I'm a consultant psychiatrist and editor of Global Psychiatry Archives, and we have the pleasure to hear talk about psycho-oncology from Dr. Monica Thakur from the Nimhans Institute in Bengaluru. Dr. Thakur, please.
All right, so thank you very much, sir. So I'm very happy that you have given me this opportunity to present the topic, which is in general undermined and not much spoken about in majority of the places, or in many of the words you can say that if it is spoken also, then in a different kind of discipline, either a psychologist is speaking, or an oncologist is speaking, or a nurse is speaking, but they are never speaking in close harmony and not speaking in a collaboration. So I come from very various kind of discipline, hence I can say that I got a good idea about this particular topic. And then when I was given this option to build this particular field, so I chose this field because it was one interesting, second it was the area which was completely, I think, much grayer than what we in general say. So title which I would like to give for this particular presentation is Revolutionizing Psycho-Oncology, a Journey Toward Integrated Care in India and at a global level, highlighting landmark research vision for the 2030 and bridging the gap between cancer and the well-being of the patients. So, where my journey started with the cancer, in general, when I was doing my master's in nursing, psychiatric nursing, my mentor suggested me this topic, Dr. Sujita Kumar Kar. He said that you want to do some work in depression and suicide. I think the best area which you can work is breast cancer patient, because that is something which people overlook, and psychiatrists, they have less time to go toward that area. And oncologists, those people are overburdened somewhere. So you are a person who can bridge this gap. So he has introduced me this topic. So when I went to a patient among many other patients, so one of my patient literally said to me that you are the first person who have asked me in entire 1.5 year of journey that how I am feeling and about my mental well-being. And that sentence itself shook me into multiple thoughts. And I was questioning myself that are we just curing the body and leaving the mental health behind? So that question given me this a big kind of uh, gap, plus a big kind of hope toward the research and doing something for the mental well-being of the patient, which was never possible without the my founding institution KGMC and my mentors, and of course the patients which was there. So when I started this, that time, of course, it was to fulfill just my master's degree. But when I went toward it, I found that there are multiple areas which are lacking comprehensive cares, and psychological care in a basic level is missing. Second, the people who survive, they are overlooked uh, by medical practitioner, by healthcare practitioner, be it a nurse, be it a doctor, or any person. So when a person survives, they think the person is now better, so they doesn't put any attention toward that particular person, that what person might be feeling at that moment of time. And then the basic issue which I found, specifically among breast cancer patient, if I talk about where my research area is good, depression, anxiety, body image, sexual dysfunction, PTSD, poor coping are just few issue which are very much very highly prevalent. The rate can range from 8% to 46% up to 68%. And body image, if you talk about the study which I have recently done, shown that it's nearly 92% of the people who have undergone mastectomy, they have body image disturbances, which is a very, very huge number. And that is something which, we need to look forward. Then other things which I observed was that there was an impact on the quality of the life, relationships, and overall well-being of the patient. Since one aspect, which is mental health, that was completely neglected in this area. And then early identification and intervention is something, if we can do, then it will be very much important for the patient. And then most important thing, which right now I can say, at least from the Indian scenario, lack of human resources is there, specifically in the government setting. In some of the private settings, they're providing, but there also the human resource doesn't have the standardized knowledge of psycho-oncology. Then most important thing, why I should provide you a human resource, because there is no data, there are no longitudinal studies which are showing that patients are suffering from this particular things. They think the patient is suffering from cancer and let's cure the cancer and then just get it done with. That's the mindset. So in order to change that mindset, we need to produce robust data and need to do longitudinal descriptive studies. Then I think we can go around the entire issue. Then multifactorial correlation studies were also absent, which can say that what is impacting what. Body image is responsible for depression. Depression is maybe responsible for individual suicide. Maybe that's the reason person is not coming to take the treatment. And then multitasking, cost-effective way of screening, treatment support, and group need to be established. So this is what I have found. Why we need support in the psycho-oncology? One, as I told you, rate of the prevalence of any kind of psychological disorders and quality of life, if you say, is very high. And then adherence with the treatment per se. If the person is having very poor kind of coping strategies, have denial, and then person have depression, they are most likely not to stick with the treatment. And then holistic care is missing. Standardized things, which I was just speaking about, that who is a psycho-oncologist? That is something that course, that how the standard treatment protocol should be there. These kind of things are, again, need to be there. Then issue, as I told you, like body image, 92%, that is something, we need to look forward. Resource gaps, whether it's manpower kind of resources, or whether it is, technical kind of things, or whether it needs to be at a material level. These kind of resource we need to fill. And then we need to see cancer as not just something that it's been diagnosed and now we have treated it and now we are done with it. We need to see the person have just come out of the shock, and person in the survivorship time also suffers. Person that time they realize that what happens. Sometimes some positive outcome come out of it, and sometimes some negative outcome come out of it. So this is the need. We need to support psycho-oncology. So these are some of the research area which I have worked, like coping mechanism, sexual dysfunction, depression, anxiety, body image issues, family, social disruption, and the importance of the social support, religious coping, spiritual, and fear of recurrence, what is the importance of treatment adherence, and fatalism, mindfulness, which is right now is the most important topic, and it's also helping cure cancer and also help in reducing inflammatory marker. So the future research studies, which right now I'm focused on, are inflammatory marker and depression. And then post-traumatic growth. Cancer, of course, comes with the negative and adversity and so many, in general, bad things. But there are some positive things also which happen after the cancer. So we need to also look at the optimistic side of it, that okay, it has brought tragedy to the individual's life, but after that, what happened? So post-traumatic growth is something in India I could only find standardized 2 studies. So it shows that how much less we are focused toward the positive side of it. There is no positive side to cancer, but of course, what we have, uh, achieved, achieved is a very wrong word, but after, coming out of the cancer, what, how, and when we have grown, that is something we need to look forward. And then how to break the bad news to the cancer patient, that is the most important topic, I would say. Again, I'm saying, why? Because majority of the people doesn't get their diagnosis in a proper way. Somebody simply say that you have a cancer, but they doesn't understand how much more it be meaningful to be talked in a proper manner. So breaking the bad news is something I have worked with, and so far I have found in multiple training which I have given with my mentors, that doctors will be asking this question about how to break the bad news. That means our medical curriculum, nursing curriculum, psychological curriculum, or be it anything related to psycho-oncology, need to inculcate these kind of things, that how to speak with the patient, starting from the illness and until you are completely satisfied that patient is fine. These kind of the topic which I have so far done research. As previously spoken, research methodology, so far I'm focused on quantitative kind of methods, but qualitative is something which is more required in this area, since many of the questionnaire which are standardized are not suitable for the cancer patient. So we need to come with something qualitative in nature, and then we can fill that particular gap. Mixed method research studies also is something which I have done, and then design by willingness. I have chose descriptive kind of design because my motive is very clear, and I'm very clear with my objective, that I want to produce a robust data from Indian perspective, that what we should do in this particular area, and to present it among stakeholders, that this is what we are lacking, this is what research is saying. So I cannot go for the intervention level until I have resource, and resource will be given to me only when I have the data in my hand. So that's the reason I have so far chosen descriptive kind of studies. So multiple research paper which I published, few only I'm putting here. One of the paper which is very least studied topic is post-traumatic growth. As I told you before, post-traumatic growth is something where individual, when they go through the adversity, they come through so many negative kind of event, but at the same level, some level of growth also happen inside that person. That growth can be, maybe person was not religious or spiritual before, but spirituality is something which has developed in that particular person, and now that spirituality has actually sustained that particular individual's motivation to keep up with the treatment. Some people find new possibilities, some people find new meaning to the life, some people start something very new because they understand the value of the life now. So these kind of aspect also need to be studied, so that when a person is suffering from depression, we can actually introduce post-traumatic growth strategies among these patients. Other studies, body image, I have already talked about, and why I'm going to speak again about it, 92%. It's not a less number. These many patients have body image disturbances, and you'll be surprised that this is a data from the rural demography. So we cannot say that the people who are living in urban areas, they only are concerned about their body, other people, they are not concerned. 92% people who come from a very a poor socio-economic strata and cannot afford the treatment, cannot have the very basic luxury to get any kind of prosthetic, those kind of people this data belongs to, and they says that we have body image issues. And there are younger survivors, And I have seen that the people who were just recovered and who were more young, they were suffering more comparatively. And then, since the family of the individual is at stake, and if our hand is something we are not able to use for 2 days, we'll have problem. So of course, when something as important, which is the part of female's sexual femininity, breast, that is removed, it feels like a hole in the body. So that's the reason this particular area need to be studied more. It is still need to be assessed by the explorative kind of study. Again, I will do the study. I have already done one study in the second year of it. I'll do it in 5 year of it. But whoever is listening to this, I will say in your centers, please do this at a level where we can find out what we can do for it and how we can do it at a level where patient is also satisfied. And what we can do, since many of the patient are going for complete mastectomy rather going for breast conservative surgery, because in my center the rate for the breast conservative surgery was just 20%, and which was very much surprising for the reviewer who were from western countries. They asked me this. But here, what mindset which people have, which I cannot say surely, but what I could get from the patient perspective, and it is unreported kind of thing, that they feel that it's okay, now they have the children, now they are in their 36 or 40s, so it's okay to remove the breast rather getting the cancer again. So that's the reason we have more cases of complete mastectomy rather breast conservative surgeries. So when more mastectomy are there, of course more body disturbance will be there. Psychological distress is something which in my first studies I have found 46%. And then I was curious that now the patient is cured, why we need to do the study? And I have done this study among the patient who were survivors. And now the question will be why they have depression. Now the cancer is cured, but you can see the rate of the anxiety, rate of stress, which is missing, and depression was 31.5%, 27.8%, and 24% for the stress. This study is published in the Lancet group. So it also means if you do the good descriptive studies and not focus only on the intervention part, then also your studies will be well recognized. As data is very less in this area. Coping mechanism, what I have found so far, that religious coping is something which helps patient a lot. And acceptance again, and Indian perspective, I would say social support, family support helps a lot. But of course, it can vary country by country. For example, if now more nuclear families are growing, so then there are just husband and wife, or it might be a single mother, then it will be much more worst case scenario to handle the entire cancer by herself or himself. So coping is something which we need to look into, because that is the positive aspect of it. And religious coping is something which is helping a lot, and those patients are found to have less depression. Post traumatic growth, again, I have studied, and here also I have found that spiritual dimension is more grown among the patient. And then one particular article which was asked us to write was unmet mental health needs, and it's very highly cited article. So that means people are growing their interest toward this area. And they're quoting again this line that majority patient cannot access the basic psychological needs in the cancer settings. So that is something which we need to focus on. And then treatment adherence, plus what is the importance of the social support and importance of different kind of defense mechanism. That is something my future target. And also it is very much important, since the people I have seen one of the study which was done in my center only, it was found that some of the patients who were diagnosed, they came after the diagnosis, they came after 2 years. So what it suggests? It also suggests underlying psychopathology, which shows that the people who are diagnosed, either financially they are not able to accept it, second, they have denial. So denial is something which is not making them go for the treatment. So we also need to look into those factors which are not given in the standardized tools, but might be actually the underlying connection between actual treatment and why results are not coming, because patient is actually suffering from depression. The inflammatory marker are more. That's why the treatment is not working for the patient. So these kind of things which we need to focus more in the future. Fear of recurrence, this study is something which I have done recently, and I found that more than 90% of the patient had fear of recurrence. And some people, of course, have said that uh, it's like stating the obvious, but again, even if it is stating the obvious, then also we have to take care of it. If person have a fear and every day the person is concerned about it, then the quality of the life of the patient will be impacted. And then another topic which is sexual dysfunction, and this is an area where I found that I went for my PhD study for this particular topic, and my pilot study failed in this topic. Since all the tool which was possible, I applied, and my first question itself failed, since I found myths in this particular area, as patient were having a thought process that if they will have intercourse during the treatment time, then the treatment may not work. That was the majority response. And some people, of course, the chemotherapy also have a sexual impact on the sexual functioning. So it was sexual dysfunction. So that is also partially responsible. But myths and how the sexual quality of the life of the person is getting impacted, qualitative study is something which we need to take. And just because my questionnaire could not fulfill and my first question itself failed, so I could not take this study further. But now I'm further going how I can tackle this and how I can make different tools. And then for the general population and for the people who are not much interested into research, what I have done is, whatever my observation was there so far, I'm writing poetry in a form where whatever finding I have seen so far in my 9 to 10 years of psycho-oncology career, I'm writing it in a form where person can attach themselves with that particular poem and then can understand the unsung pain of these people who are suffering or who have survived. So then I think general population can also become sensitive, and even the people who have less idea about it, even they can be sensitized about it. So that's my I was not much keen toward it, but then I found that how I can make other people understand the pain of these people. So that's the reason now it's one poem, but I have written 2 to 3 which are published in standardized journals, and mm, many people have actually appreciated, and they told me specifically that this is something we can understand it. So sometimes we take to need to take a different route to make other people understand. So if you ask me what are the key findings, so there are so many pros and cons of it. Improved self acceptance right now, resilient growth is there in the patient, community support is there, and slightly the awareness is enhanced. But the cause is still the psychological distress number is more. Social isolation is slowly happening, as I told about even nuclear family. Fear of recurrence is in high number. Treatment challenges are of course there. So what impact so far my studies have done? is one, that so far my research, majority of research papers are cited in international journal. So that means people are recognizing this area at international level, and of course many of the people also are contacting, and they're understanding, and oncologists are asking that can you train us for this particular topic, because I want my staff to understand this psychological needs. And then why I feel what impact I have created. Of course, I'm not as important as other people who have done a lot of work, but best part of my work was that I always worked in an interdisciplinary team, which is always lacking in psycho-oncology field. And uh, one important thing I have done, I have tried to inform as many stakeholder who are associated with psycho-oncology possible to do something about it. Hire a psycho-oncologist in your setting, or at least if not a psycho-oncologist, a psychologist. So something is better than nothing. And then advocating for the policy changes also, because without policy changes nothing is going to happen. We need to identify that this is the need, this is the problem, this is the gap area, this is the deficiency of the human resources. And then only when the posts are created, people are there, then we can give the comprehensive cares. And then changing the guidelines also, and like there should be a standard format that once a person come, once the person is diagnosed, we should also assess the person for basic psychological issues. Such kind of protocol should be followed. And then cancer support group is something that once this research particularly was now since as I told you, it's nearly 9 years to 10 years. Now they are also focusing on the mental health part, since the paper are published in the prestigious journal, and the number of the prevalence and the rate is basically very high, so they are accepting it, and then they are boosting the activity which are important for the mental health. So strength right now which I can see, and what at global initiative level in the SWOT analysis whatever I have, that strong commitment to integrate mental health into cancer care practice, and the practices which are appreciated and practiced globally. And then collaboration between discipline, and this is the basic problem where disciplines are not collaborating. Weakness, as I told you already, one is collaboration, and then limited awareness. If I talk about patient, of course they have, but first I should ask the patient, are you okay? Do you have any sort of concern? Can you tell me about it? If not, I'm there, I will be available for you. If you tell these questions, maybe after 1 week person will come, but will come back to you. But if we are not having awareness only, we cannot ask this question to them. And then insufficient standardization training program for the future psycho-oncologists in various regions and various profession, I can say. Opportunities, the recognition so far is growing for the mental health importance. One I can see right now that I'm presenting this psycho-oncology findings in this form, which is globally recognized. So this is something is such sort of opportunities, people whoever get the chance, they should speak about it. And then potential for developing extensive psycho-oncology departments in hospital system worldwide. And then threat is something underfunding for the psycho-oncology, specifically in the developing country, because the challenge is that curing the cancer itself is a big deal, and then people somehow neglect the mental health, and you cannot blame always the medical team. Sometimes even the patient, I have seen them, I have told them that you have depression, and just by spending one rupees INR, you can go and visit psychiatry OPD. And then their answer was that, no, I just want treatment for cancer. I do not want. So it's not, always the medical team which is lacking. Sometimes even the patients, they are not aware, and, they are not keen toward it. So these kind of issues, if, the person would be there itself in the department, then they must be much more interested to go. And then competitive healthcare priorities may overshadow the need for psycho-oncological service. And I think this line explain my thousand words. So that is something which we need to look forward. Future, what I want to see is mental health screening should be done irrespective of anything. Integrated care model should be adopted. That is the need of the hour. I'm again saying it's the most important need of the hour. Everybody is good in their own field. But when we talk about psycho-oncology, we do not need to hesitate and ask other person how the person is doing mentally. And when we integrate, when we take the round together, when we speak with the patient together, then we can provide the integrated, care. Otherwise, we cannot provide that. So we need to, uh, come out of our own ecosystem and own kind of development, that why I should give my credit to some other person. Let me do my own research. Let's collaborate and let's focus on the patient rather focusing on ourselves. And customized intervention is something, tailor based intervention, because every person, as we say, the key principle of psychiatry, every individual is unique and we should be non-judgmental, and our need and our all kind of therapy should be based on individuals, not what I feel is right. Standardized training is something which is the need of the hour. As I told, many of the people are there who are practicing as psycho-oncologists, but they doesn't have either knowledge about psychology or about nursing or about cancer biology. And I have a very simple question. I'm really sorry if you're offended by it, but I have a very simple question. If you doesn't understand the cancer biology, how you will understand what the patient is, going through? So it's never too late to take a book or read, something from the Google Scholar, PubMed, going anywhere. Read about it, know about it. I think then you can understand the patient better. And if you are an oncologist, you can also, study about the psychological aspect. You can take a help from the psychiatrist, or you can come in touch with the psychologist and ask about, the perspective which can be impacted and how my patient treatment is getting impacted. You are never, going out of your system. You're just asking it for the patient's well-being. So this kind of things we should do in order to improve the patient outcome. Standardized training program I have already talked about. Robust research initiative is of course the need of the hours, and accessible psycho-oncological services is something which we need. So person who can afford and person who cannot afford, everybody can get the basic kind of psychological support from our end. So the work which I have done got recognized by one of the sustainable development goals that ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. That is the one of the sustainable development goal number 3 of equality. So, and if you'll write properly, I think your article will be well read. So it doesn't say good things about me. It says good things about the people who are, this article is not published in the British Journal, but I saw the British Journal top list article number, and there was among 10 articles, 2 article was from psycho-oncology, and those articles were mine. It says that people are actually taking interest. So if you will work properly and if you will put it properly, then, people will start recognizing your work also and will start collaborating with you. So this is something which, we should target at short-term basis. Integration, education, awareness, research, standardization, policy changes. Summary is, do the research, replicate, generalized, implement, intervene, reevaluate, and then again do the research. So very small poem I have written for, the pain of the patient. The shadow falls, a chilling blight, where life once bloomed now dims the light. A diagnosis, a word so stark, shattering hopes, leaving a lasting mark. The battle rages, fierce and long. Chemotherapy sting, a weary song. Radiations glow, searing pain, but courage burns, defying strain. Hair may fall and strength may wane, but spirit soars, defying the rain. Loved one gathers a comforting hand, walking beside a steadfast band. Beyond the clinic, life finds its way. Scars may linger, but hope holds sway. Resilience blooms a vibrant hue, life's precious gift forever renewed. So it's one of the essence of what I have learned so far. And it also shows that, no matter what patient and you as a person can, come out of it. The weakness of this particular presentation is that here I could not speak much about, medical care personnel who are practicing, like their, emotional trauma, what they go through, the palliative care people, uh, how they are working in the end of basically terminally ill patients, and how much, kind of outburst they have, burnouts they have. That is something which is something missed in this particular presentation, and it's also a limitation, but we can work on it. So it was never ever possible without my parents, who always cheered me up, and my guides, Professor Dr. Anand Kumar Mishra, Dr. Sujita Kumar Kar, professor from KGMC, Dr. S.K. Chakravarti sir, who's ex-Dean NIMHANS, emeritus professor, and one of the pillar of psycho-oncology, and to all my faculty member of nursing and psychology who has taught me how to integrate this field and given this compassion for me. So thank you very much.